Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask Pastor Keith, where today we are asking the question, Pastor Keith, should we as Christians be celebrating Halloween?
Okay. Halloween is a tradition that sprung out of Druids and nature, animism, folk religion base, and it is it's kind of a curse. Trick or treat is. Therefore, participating it as it is not a wise thing for a Christian to do. Reasoning is very clear. That is, in the scripture, Paul talks about the meat that is offered to idols, and at first he explains there's no such thing as idol, as long as it doesn't bother your conscience or conscience of another. Go ahead and buy it and consume it. And yet, later on, he says, how can a table of demons be mixed with table of the Lord? And therefore, do not participate. That is a little bit different context. That actually implies a Christian walking into a temple and consuming the meat that is prepared in that place. The first one was, though, it's about a marketplace that they just pick it up, purchase without knowing the origin of it or even at the knowledge of it. Now, there is a difference. And so for us, there's no such thing as, the idols and whatnot. But we know, biblical worldview, there is demons as well. Not that when you go out and do the trick or treating that you are vulnerable for demonization. That's not what I'm talking about. But this is a very a peculiar origin, and Christians have no place being part of it. That does not mean Christian to just withdraw and let the enemy, take a possession of that day. It actually, for us in United States and Western world, it dovetails the All Saints' Day of Catholic tradition, and which spun off as a Day of the Dead in Mexico and other things. But for us Christians, I think it is to honor that life is not just here and now, but life continues in the next world, next life. And recognizing is important too. But we want to approach this from children's vantage point. And they feel sometimes angry. They're missing out, dressing up as something else and going after candies and stuff. So I think it is important for their psychological development and all that, and they be able to dress up as superheroes and whatever else, biblical characters and things like that. So bringing that fun memory building blocks into a church is very recommended, strongly recommended. So our children doesn't feel they're robbed, but we have the real stuff. And so they can have a fellowship and the biblical character, especially preschool children and the early school children. This is a very important part of their growing up, role playing and things like that in nature. So my recommendation is bring that into a church, make it safe, and has nothing to do with the Halloween tradition, residue of it, but celebrate within a safe environment. As you know, even these days, going through the neighborhood and all that, you don't know what's out there and how safe it is. So bring that into a church community and where the people are just having great fun, a fall festival. And I think there's no harm to that. Just like what Paul is saying, you can eat the meat that's sacrificed to idol, is in a market. And as long as it doesn't bother your conscience, you should take advantage of the financial discount. That's fine. But actually going out there, participating the Halloween as it is now, which is largely promoted since 80s by candy companies, which have half of the annual sale is being done on Halloween. And, party supplies and costumes and the venues, including amusement park. So all the industries are in to make profit out of it, and therefore it has become something very big, which wasn't before. And so we don't have to participate in that, and especially wrong spiritual root. So we stay out of it, and yet let our children not miss that, right? So having a safe environment and bring it in the church and have fun.
Wow, which is a perfect segue to making a push for our trunk or treat. We will be hosting an event like that at our church. So thank you so much for your wisdom, Pastor Keith. And if anyone's interested in joining us for our trunk or treat, it's going to be on October 30th. And we are still looking for trunk hosts. So if anyone would like to sign up, please email me at samuel.pio@churchofsouthland.com. But thank you so much for your time, Pastor Keith, and for your very insightful answer.